Hello everybody, Andy here from Glass Half Dead, the #1 channel on the internet. I think you'll find that is objectively correct, and in this video I want to draw you further and deeper into me and my psychoses, which is the desire to know what is the most popular. Obviously I'm focusing on Kill Team, however, due to, well, you can see numbers on the screen. I'll explain those in a moment, and my odd methodology. But also, you know, like all of the factions in Kill Team do relate to a 40k faction, and so it's interesting to know kind of what translates from 40k and comes over to Kill Team and what doesn't translate. So, first things first, what are these numbers? What does this mean? So, you know, as a YouTuber, if you want to call me that, don't though, I'm always looking to put the correct amount of effort into my content. So as we can see right at the top, basically everyone agrees Angels of Death is like the #1 faction, whether it's Kill Team, 40k, whether it's actually playing the game, just checking the rules out online, etc. Everybody just agrees, Space Marines, that's what you do, right? However, maybe I have a passion project for Hand of the Archon. Well, that's a bad proposition to put too much time and effort into, you know, doing a how to play, focusing on them, for example. And so I just, for me personally, I'm really interested to see where I should focus my efforts. Also, just in general, you know, which factions to play, right? Like, maybe I have a love for Kroot, but actually nobody plays Kroot either in 40k or in Kill Team, so I'd like to know that so I can like mentally adjust. If I then do a really big in-depth how to play guide for Kroot, I know that actually that's purely for my own fun and nobody's actually going to watch it, right? You may have your own desires to know things. So I have drawn from a few sources for this. We're gonna go look at them now. So first things first, we have Battle Kit. Now, you know my desire and love for Battle Kit. I think it's brilliant. I think it's great. I think you should all be using it. On the off chance you don't know what Battle Kit is, I've done a Battle Kit versus official Kill Team app. Battle Kit blows it out of the water. It's absolutely great. I use it literally every time I play, whether I'm playing solo or in, you know, against somebody else. I always have Battle Kit open on my tablet next to me. Awesome. Also, I just loaded this page up so that you could see that I'm looking at Battle Kit. Leaks, they've already put Death Guard into their tier list. I think they should have held off for another week on that one, don't I? However, I reached out to Albert and said, hey, can I see some of your data? To which he said, here's your data. Data, sorry. So this is basically, as you can see at the bottom, this is the number of hits on all of the different tabs in his stuff. So yeah, right at the bottom, Angels of Death, just look at the Optives page for that, has 21,000 hits, okay? Some of those numbers are going to be slightly out of order. So, for example, Inquisitorial Agents no, not that one. Some of them, they don't have as many hits on the Optives page as they do on their racial page. Racial, of course, being like the faction tactics. For example, Inquisitorial Agents, if you just look at the colour there, clearly more people than the Mandrakes or the Felgors next to them are looking at what on earth they do, as opposed to just what do the units do. So there are a few little tweaks there than just what's the operatives. Cool. We then, look, there aren't many ways to get data, so I'm pulling it from weird places. We then have James and the Giant Squig. This is the guy that, I've mentioned before, when we were talking about kind of reference sheets for the core rules. As you can say, he's got 2k downloads from that. These are all free, by the way. If you want to have your hard copy, go to James the Giant Squig on Ko-fi, whatever it's called. These are all free to download. You just have to give an email address. You don't even need to sign in, and you get them. You can, of course, donate to him if you like what he's done, or what they've done. Sorry, but luckily he has kept up the actual number of downloads for each of these, so we can see that how many people have downloaded the Commandos pack 727 compared to the Aquilons, 599. So this is just some numbers, just good numbers. We can see, and it's all listed here, you know, number 1, Commandos, number 2, Aquilons, number 3, Vespid Stingwings, etc. Just all right there for us all to see. So that's super cool. And then, of course, we have the legend himself, Canuola Crit, the only person out there to have done a faction review for every single faction. Mad. I don't know how he did it. I deliberately made a decision I wasn't going to do any, because that sounds really fucking boring. But he did it himself, so that's awesome. So we can go and check out his channel, and so of course we can see how many views each of his videos has gotten, which is great. And then that's it. So we only have those 3 sources for Kill Team. Obviously they don't all mean the same thing, but we're just having to guess, right? We then have for 40k, we have Auspex Tactics. This is the latest video he did where I could find numbers. Now, numbers, when I say numbers, what I was looking for wasn't how many people are playing in tournaments, because that's actually really easy to find, and it's also a number I don't care about. That's the other thing. I'm not trying to find out for Kill Team what is the most popular faction in tournaments, because that's not really telling us what's the most popular faction. That's basically a tier list, and that's telling us what is the strongest faction. For example, in 40k right now, the strongest is like Warp Coven, or sorry, Thousand Suns. But the thing is, Thousand Suns are not a popular faction, okay? I want to know what are the popular factions that people actually just casually play. Of course, finding casual data is really, really difficult. That's why we're looking at Battle Kit's numbers, because this has nothing to do with tournaments. Now it's quite likely that everyone playing in the tournament is probably using Battle Kit, but that's irrelevant. You can also play your casual games using Battle Kit. Certainly, as I said, when I play Kill Team, I use Battle Kit. So whether I'm messing around trying to stomp a tournament, which I'm not, to clarify, ever, or I just want to see, hey, what do Chaos Cults do now? I'm using Battle Kit. So you're seeing casual data. And then the Auspex Tactics data here, this isn't capturing top tournament plays. This is capturing, he did a poll for his audience, just asking, what do you play, what do you own, what do you collect? And so he went through it all. So obviously you've got Space Marines first with 38% of the people that answered his poll owning them. Then you got like Tyranids at number 2, Necrons number 3, etc. I believe he didn't really say much like, this is the data, or this is the data set. He just said he posted a poll, and I believe it's armies that you own, I think. I don't think it's armies that you play. I think it's just own. Anyway, cool. There we go. Which leads us to the compiled numbers. Now, what do we have here? So, this is all, as you can see, I can zoom in a smidge. Yeah, maybe, I guess. So, I ordered this from the Battle Kit data, which is why the Battle Kit number is just a descending order, 1, 2, 3, 4, ascending order of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 33. Skipped a few there. Because to me, I think that's a very interesting number to know what people are actually playing with, as opposed to what people are looking at online or checking out when they are hobbying, right? Which is how I consume all of my YouTube content, right? Like I'm hobbying, I need something in the background, let's play some videos, right? Cool. So, if you kind of take that as the Kill Team definitive, and then you look at the numbers from James the Giant Squig and Canuola Crit, as you can see, it's all now listed as, for James the Giant Squig, Commandos are number 1, so they have the number 1 there, okay? Whereas for Auspex Tactics, for Canuola Crit, Angels of Death are number 1, so the 1 is there, and of course the 1 is therefore in line with Angels of Death. However, quite interestingly, none of these match up, pretty much. Apart from Angels of Death lining up, everything else is different. They're not that different, I will say, so you can definitely see a very general trend of where things lie. Anyway, then, sorry, on the right-hand side we have Auspex Tactics. So this is because I was quite interested to see where they would line up in regards to their primary faction from 40k. So again, obviously Space Marines are at the top. That makes sense. That is the only thing that lines up. Cool. And then, for example, Commandos are number 3 in Battle Kit, number 1 on James the Giant Squig, number 3 on Can You Roll a Crit. But then Orcs are actually down here. So they are actually the 8th most popular faction in 40k, whereas the 3rd in Kill Team, which is very interesting, you know, and that's the kind of thing that I find super like, ooh, wonder why that is. You know, Necrons here are 3rd, but if we go and look at Hierotech Circle, well, they're more like 8, 14, 10, 3. Again, super interesting. Why? What's missing? Why are the Necrons so popular in 40k, or so collected so much in 40k, but then actually comparatively relatively low in Kill Team? Is it that the Hierotech Circle specifically are not actually the Necron fantasy that people want on the tabletop? Have they missed the mark with that one? You might notice that Tyranids are number 2, and there is no number 2 in Kill Team. You might think, oh well, you know, maybe Genestealer Cult. Oh, do you mean Brood Brothers at 12, or Wormblade, by the way, across the board, a team nobody gives a shit about. Just throwing that out there. Bad team. But no, unfortunately, Wormblade quite far down the list there at 16. The actual last 40k faction, by the way, if you take Grey Knights, Blood Angels, Black Templars, Space Wolves, Death Watchers not existing, is Drukhari, which are 21. They are the 21st faction. The least played faction in 40k, or least collected faction in 40k. Which is actually in line with the Battle Kit data. They are the 21st faction, which is just quite interesting. Of course, for 40k, that means they are the last faction, whereas for Kill Team, that just means they're low, because there were 33 factions in Kill Team, as opposed to 21, because we are just ignoring these final few, because there are 0 representation in Kill Team for those. Although, looking at the data, probably we shouldn't have Grey Knights, Blood Angels, Black Templars, Space Wolves, or Death Watch in Kill Team, because nobody plays them in 40k. Quite how Leagues of Votann are this low at the 19th, and yet have 2 teams, I do not know. There you go. Cool. Anyway, I just wanted to throw this your way. Really, I'm just trying to give you this spreadsheet, okay? Have a look at it if you're interested in numbers yourself. Is there anything else of note here? Not really. Phobos are bizarrely placed, as always. So they're doing number 9 in Battle Kit. I don't know. Whereas they are Space Marines. Same thing for Scouts, of course. Although that surprises me much less, because Scouts, yeah, technically they're Space Marines. They've gone through the Rubicon, but they're not Space Marines, right? So that kind of thing, I get it. I will say also, I just counted a lot of things as Astra Militarum. So Astra Militarum here, number 5, right? So number 5, interesting. But yeah, I counted anything that in 40k would be in the codex that nobody likes. It's not Inquisitorial Agents, is it? Maybe it is. Maybe it's that. Sure. I'm pretty sure that's the one. I put most of those in Astra Militarum because they're just regular dudes. And if you wanted to, for almost all of those, like Exaction Squad, Breachers, etc., Inquisitorial Agents, which is the actual Kill Team thing, Agents of the Imperium, there you go. I just counted them as Astra Militarum because ultimately they're just regular dudes, and for almost all of them, you could put them into an Astra Militarum army and say, this is my regiment of dudes. Yeah, they're not Cadians, but that's because they don't need to be Cadians. They just need to be on 25mm basis, right? So there you go. I guess, okay, so here's one that I don't understand. The final point I'm going to make is we get Deathcore up here at number 7. A little bit lower than Astra Militarum, but that's fine because we've got some really cool teams. We kind of have Nemesis Claw, Legionary, hogging the top spots, like pushing the other main factions down. But, that's another thing to note. Warp Coven, I'm never going to finish this video, am I? Anyway, Warp Coven. So if I had gone out and looked at like tournament data alongside this, that would be very interesting, because as I mentioned, Warp Coven 18 down here, 1,000 Suns, that's almost last, like that's really, really low down. But if you were to then look at tournament data for how many people are playing 1,000 Suns, super high, because they're super powerful. And of course, in tournaments, if a faction is overpowered, more people are going to run it because they're obviously at a tournament to win in general. So 1,000 Suns heavily overrepresented in the 40k tournament scene at the moment compared to how many people actually play 1,000 Suns, which is what I personally find super interesting. You get a really good view in 40k because of all of the tournament data about who is running what at tournaments. But then, if you go, for example, to the 1,000 Suns subreddit, there's like a post a day. It's very quiet because people play it in tournaments because it's strong. They don't really care about or collect 1,000 Suns. Likewise, over here, the thing I was going to make is Deathcore 7th for Battle Kit, which it seems pretty close. You've got 11 and 9 from Jax and Cyrac there. But then Kassakin are all the way down here. Half again, like double down at 15th. And I'm really surprised because I would have thought Kassakin are Imperial Guard. They should be way up there. They should be top 10, in my opinion. They're one of those teams. They're basically the Space Marines of the Imperial Guard. So I'm quite curious. Let me know what you think. Do you think Kassakin are so low because their current strength in Kill Team? Do you think it's because a collectability issue? Everybody has Commandos and Deathcore because they were the starter box from last edition, and so this is purely an accessibility thing. So everybody's playing Deathcore and they're number 7 because everybody has them. Right? Likewise, Commandos are number 3 because everybody has them. Because Orcs, they're number 8. Commandos are very heavily overrepresented compared to how many people like Orcs in 40k. So, just super interesting things. I'm, as always, I should have provided this at the beginning. I apologize. I'm not making any points. I'm just looking at numbers and thinking it's interesting so that, and this is the truth, obviously, as I already said at the beginning, really, but when I go to do my next battle report on tactical skew or whatever, what am I going to play into each other? Am I going to pick Gelapox versus Chaos Cults? No, because nobody would watch it. Even if you like Kill Team, it's like, nah, right? Or am I just going to run Angels of Death and Legionary into each other for the next 6 months until people get bored and stop watching that? I'll probably do that, to be honest. Except I won't. I've already done Angels of Death versus Legionary, so I just work my way down the list. Great. Next time, Commandos. I've done Nemesis Claw against Aquilons. Game after that, Stingwings versus Deathcore. Game after that, Circle versus Phobos. Game after that, Warp Coven versus Corsairs. There you go. That's my actual plan. And basically, the reason I put all of these numbers together, I could have just done it from the battle kit data, which Albert very kindly sent me. But the idea was that I would also look at Jatkas and Cyrac and Act and see if all of those had a completely different number. And so I wanted to look at things a little bit closer because maybe everybody was playing Legionary, but nobody was watching Legionary, So now I can go away from looking at this and know that, yes, actually the battle kit data is pretty accurate, with a few differences here and there. I probably won't play Warp Coven, for example. I think the number is higher in battle kit than probably should be, based on other things there, based on both the 40k and Jatkas there. and know that for my next battle report, for the next faction that I want to focus on and think about, and maybe make a Glass Half Dead video on, perhaps, I should just look at the battle kit data. There you go. Cool. Well, go and check out everything I just said there. Battle kit, James with the Giant Squealing on Coffee, and Cyrac over on YouTube. And of course, check out Allspecs Tactics. But if you watch me, you already watch him. So obviously. Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. Stay popular.